Hi, and welcome back to AI and 5. As always, I'm your host, Simon Chris, and joining me today is another Simon Tyrrell, who's the Chief Strategy Officer at Hume. And we're going to be talking about the three biggest mistakes that the C-suite are making around generative AI. Hey, Simon, welcome to AI and 5. Great name, by the way. Thanks for joining us.
Hello to you too, Simon. The two Simons. I think there's a joke about that somewhere, but nice to meet you.
Yeah, I think there was an old 70s TV show, Simon and Simon.
It was a cop show. A cop show, I think. Yeah,
there you go. Let's jump right in. We've only got 5 minutes. The work that you're doing is definitively with a lot of executives, a lot of boards, things like that at the kind of the upper end. What are you seeing are the big, what are the big glaring mistakes that C-suites and boards are still making around AI?
Well, there's only three. There's quite a few, but if I had to sort of, I guess, categorize what we're seeing, consistency. One, which I think is the primary issue, we still see a very large lack of curiosity and understanding. And by curiosity, I mean, I'll walk into meetings with, say, boards or executive leadership teams, and they're not even asking the questions of this stuff. Maybe they've heard about it. They've heard about ChatGPT, etc., but they're not going to that next level of inquiry of, okay, what does it mean? And I just sort of show them some numbers, right, of what the predictions are, both highly overly optimistic or pessimistic, depending on your view, or conservative, but they're fairly significant numbers of disruption and change to how things are going to be done. And then I just make the point. If I walked in and said, I'm going to take out, let's call it 23% of something from your business tomorrow, you'd be asking me about it. And they'll go, oh, yeah. And I'm like, well, why the hell aren't you asking me about this? Yep. And there's just this moment where the penny drops that, oh, this isn't just a tech thing. This is actually potentially a very disruptive or transformative thing to their organization, the way it works. So that's the first thing. So we spend a lot of time getting CEOs and C-suite hands-on, just doing basic stuff so they can actually understand what it means when we talk about these things.
I'm still amazed how many executives and how many directors of companies have never even played with a generative AI tool. It's shocking.
It is shocking, and that's because I think they see it as just another tech. It's like, oh, I don't have the latest iPhone yet. I'll get it at some point, right?
Yeah.
But what we try to do is make
what's number two?
Them realize it's big enough. Well, number two is then when they get it, one of two things happens. They sit there and procrastinate thinking about the policy side of things.
Yeah.
Right? Maybe they'll do a survey of their staff, or the opposite. They go, great. Oh, we've got tool A, whatever tool A might be. Let's just deploy that. And that's a mistake because you need to actually take the moment to think about how this will work within your organization from a use case perspective. So what does a good use case look like? It's not just throwing this stuff, and we're seeing this a lot with agents, right? A lot of mistakes being made where they're throwing agentic AI at a traditional process that has been designed for humans. And agentic AI isn't very good at that because it wants to shortcut 90% of the steps, right? But even at a simple level of, okay, does it make sense to have an AI doing that particular process? Does it actually help? Is it feasible? Could you scale it? Do you even have the data? Do you have the documents, whatever it may be? Not enough time thinking that through. And then not enough time, if they are sort of saying, oh, we're doing a use case, generally it's customer service that they go after first from what we see. But then it's, okay, is it worth doing? And so we think of it as really simple sort of framing the opportunity and the risks, then identifying where it could be best used, and then testing as quickly as possible the feasibility of doing that, and then making a call on whether you scale it. Right. And we spend a lot of time sort of talking to customers where, okay, we're doing a lot of, say, MCP data use cases at the moment, some big ones. We don't need to start with a real-time feed of the entire database for System X to prove that it's feasible to get a level of insight out of that data in, say, a chatbot or whatever. We can do a lot of stuff before then. So we spend a lot of time doing that as well.
Yeah, okay. And are you seeing companies still stuck in this, how do we exploit AI? to become faster, better, cheaper, but without thinking about how could we explore AI, what new products, services, things like that. Are you seeing that?
Absolutely, and we spend a lot of time saying, look, if we can make everyone and that there's a tool we all know that most enterprises have at their disposal, right? And we talk a lot about what's value deriving long term for you. And so let's just say, okay, we're going to put this tool out, and everyone can now draft emails faster. Okay.
Mm,
That's a good productivity gain, I guess, but it's not strategic competitive advantage because the assumption is everyone will start doing that at some point. The
correct.
strategic competitive advantage is going to come in when you identify a completely new way of doing something, like a new process or a service. I'll just give you a really quick, I can't name the customer, but it's one of the best examples we've had. So we did some work like I've just been describing with a big national corporate here in Australia. And we created an AI assistant that basically is a market industry analyst assistant. That it's for the team who does that job, but there's no way they could synthesize thousands and thousands of pages of white papers, reports, trends. That's what that AI does. Literally late last year, one of those users, she's our champion user, and there's always a champion user who bubbles up to
Hmm.
the surface, we find. She had 15 minutes free on a Thursday afternoon. And she just started to go, I wonder about that idea we've had in the back burner for the last 2, 3 years, if there's something in it. 15 minutes, she just asked questions of this AI back and forth. She matched trends to their customer segmentation, profiling information, et cetera, et cetera. Cut long story short, by the end of that 15 minutes, she's created an executive briefing pack on a brand new product go to market. It went up to the exec. It got signed off. Total cost of that process from idea through to sign off to do it was $500. That's what they've
Wow. There you
estimated.
go.
They're just about to launch that new product into market. It's predicted to be the biggest product by sales volume. They've got more pre-orders for it than they've ever had in the history of their company's product launches. And they're in an industry where their head of commercial said to me in the very first workshop, I'll never forget it, Simon, the only way we make money is new products, and we don't do it.
Yeah.
And so
Wow.
if you think about that as a process, one person did the same job but was able to explore something that otherwise was too hard or took too long, so it never got done. That's the
Okay.
type of thing I look
Well,
for.
believe it or not, we're over time already.
There we go.
But I want to ask you the same question I ask everyone, but short answer. What if a company's just starting their AI journey? What should they be thinking about or focusing on?
Focusing on their business, not the technology, and getting themselves educated, not on how to use Copilot or ChatGPT, but what does this technology actually do and what makes it different to previous technology disruptions we've had. Doesn't take a lot, and then getting your hands on as part of that understanding, playing with stuff, seeing what's possible, what doesn't work, etc., and then stepping back and going, right, now I know that. Where could
Okay.
I see that being applied in my business? Not, I can do something faster, and that's where it ends.
Awesome advice. Awesome advice. Simon, thanks for being a part of AI in 5.
Yeah, thanks for having me, Simon.